Good evening, dozens of loyal patrons. Welcome to the Russell Tripp Theater and to Tripp Live. It's live. Anything could happen. I am not animatronic. I am alive right now. And I am speaking off the cuff. Thank you for coming today to support the Tripp Live. This is our event where we put some local celebrities / public servants in front of you to answer questions and have some fun with us. So thank you for having a good time with us tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started. So please put your hands together and welcome our host, Michael Winder.
All right. Hello. Thank you. There we go. All right. Thank you all so much for coming to this, the first of what we hope will be many Tripp Live shows. It is based on a late night talk show format. It's the first one, so like they say, there may be some hiccups. Clearly, we've messed up the start time for a late night talk show. But if everybody's cool, it's a nice kind of manageable group here. We'll just hang out for 4 hours or so. There's a bed in case you want to.
It'll only feel like 4 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. The monologue itself is 4 hours, so tuck in. So a lot of comedy in the news, a lot of tragedy in the news. It's a great time for theater. Whoever said theater is dead does not pay attention to CNN or Fox News. It's a double dose of nonstop hilarity and the end of the world. So pick either one of those. Speaking of doomsday or the apocalypse, it's a good thing to do at the top of any kind of comedy show is get that out of the way. Talk about the apocalypse. You guys see this in the news? The doomsday clock was adjusted. You guys know what the doomsday clock is? So it's this thing, in case you don't know, a group of scientists. It's just a way of measuring really how close we are to the end of everything, like all being snuffed. Seriously, the end of everything. It's moved 2 minutes closer to midnight, midnight being the time when everything's over. 2 minutes to midnight, the closest it's been since 1953. Yeah. You can go, ooh, to that. That's right. That's scary. That does sound scary. But when you think about it, I was looking at that, I was like, you know what? Wait a second. 2 minutes before this crazy, scary deadline. And immediately I was just thrown back to the summer. Parents would go to work. You're out of school at home alone. Right? They gave you that list of chores at the beginning of the day. Of course you don't do them. Hear the car in the driveway, things are going in the dryer and the washer and under the bed and all that kind of stuff, and everything's fine. So, in this example, right, the chores are like saving the environment and not dying, and we'll be totally fine before North Korea gets home. It's gonna be fine. Thank you. Other stuff in the news, speaking of laundry, Tide Pods, I don't know. Again, I was thinking of that, yeah, kids do crazy things, but I will be the first to admit, these younger generations far more advanced than certainly mine, older generations, right? So there must be something there, there must be some reason. They must have created some new word or some new acronym that you text that is so foul, so dirty, that that's the only thing they can wash their own mouths out. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know, because I would inappropriately use it probably with my parents. Other things in the news, anybody investing in Bitcoins? No? That's what I thought. I think, somebody just literally took monopoly money into a bank and the teller was like, okay, and then it's an international phenomenon. So we have got a great show for you guys tonight. We have wonderful guests, and I can't thank them enough for coming out for this inaugural show. So please, a round of applause for our guests tonight. We have State Senator Sarah Gelser is here. Yes. We have Lynn County Circuit Judge Faistus Waters is here. We have the Mayor of Albany, Cher Canopa is here. And from LBCC itself, Vice President Ann Buckley is here. And also some very special guests from downtown business owners from the Pix Theater. Rod and Denise Bigner are here. All right, so you know what? You want to hear from them, you don't want to hear from me, so let's get the show started.
High five all the
Here we
time.
go. Got that theme music. Really, really, really proud of the theme music I chose for tonight. Okay.
Really hits.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's right on note.
So this is, in case you didn't know, this is wonderful co-host here. This is Leslie Hammond. Round of applause. We've been friends for 75, 76 years, probably.
Yeah, about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was May.
It was.
Yeah.
That's right. The flowers.
It was really nice flowers that year.
Yeah. So, yes, we've been friends for a while.
Yeah.
And we're up on things, you know, maintaining our friendship as we do with events and social things. So we have something coming up this month.
We do.
It's very important to us.
Black Panther.
That's right. Black Panther's coming out. We watch comic book movies.
We do. We
A
are.
lot.
Yeah, we watch comic book movies. We started going to comic book movies together because our wives won't go with us.
That's right. Yeah. So it was a beautiful cinematic friendship born out of neglect from our partners.
Yeah. We don't care about the things we love.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've made a thing out of it. We have a tradition now. We get the couples combo
That's right.
because it saves money.
Big bucket of popcorn right
Big
between us.
popcorn. We don't share soda because that's gross.
Yeah.
And he drinks root beer. And you're the popcorn holder.
That's right. Yep.
And you always sit on the left, my left.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is the
weird.
left,
We
I
never.
guess.
It's not like we just said, okay, going into this, here are the ground rules. Here's where we feel safe. Here's where we don't feel safe.
Yeah.
We just did it, and it was natural and beautiful.
Yeah, and it's good. And we have Black Panther coming up, which we're both excited about. And, you know, it's been pretty smooth sailing. I would say the one misstep we made a couple years ago,
Oh, that's right.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
So Deadpool came out in February of last year. We made plans.
Yeah.
We texted back and forth. Can you go Friday? No. Can you go Saturday? No. Can you go Sunday? Yes. So we make plans to go Sunday, mentioned it to the wives, get a face like this. Turns out, it was Valentine's Day. So we invited them to come to brunch before Deadpool, and then we went to Deadpool. I thought it went great.
Yeah. I think we covered all of our bases there, and
I feel like they've forgiven us.
yeah.
So let's make our Black Panther pants. So it comes out on the 9th, but I
Okay.
can't do that weekend. So maybe like the next week,
Yeah. The next weekend's bad too. So like during the week, maybe.
like Wednesday.
Yeah.
Not like next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. Not the 7th, but the one that comes after the 7th, that Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Nothing's. That's a Wednesday in the middle of. No,
Yeah.
nothing's happening.
Date.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Date.
We'll write that down. I wrote it down. It's for real. Okay. So speaking of comic books.
Yeah.
We have to test our knowledge. So we do watch a lot of comic book movies. We read comic books. So we've got a bit of expertise here.
We do. We actually have like, it's always kind of one of those things where, you know, after the comic book movie, when it has the teaser parts in the credits, both of us are always like, oh yeah. You know, like we know what it really means. And sometimes we really know what it means, but sometimes I'm like, does he really know what that is?
Yeah.
And sometimes I act like I know what it means, and I don't.
All right, well, we're going to test our knowledge for our edification and your entertainment. We've got some comic book characters here. We're going to describe them, and we're going to decide if they are real or fake. Okay? Quizzing each other. Keep score, because I'm sure it will be a blowout.
And the fake ones we made up ourselves.
Yeah. But they're all going to be so plausibly weird that
Yeah.
who knows what.
It was a great day at work. My boss is backstage, but I don't think she can hear this.
My boss is on stage. And she allowed me to do this. All right, so for example, and this will be for everyone to think about. If I presented to you a character who went by the name Arm Fall Off Boy, okay, whose power is to take off his own limbs and then hit you with them. So, and that sounds, oh, that's weird, but is it so weird it's probably real?
No, this one I don't buy because if he takes off his own arm and hits you with it, it would be arm detachable guy, not fall off guy. The fall off guy makes it sound like leprosy boy, like it's just, oh no. Then with my arm,
Okay.
whoops,
All right.
exiled to Molokai.
Yeah. So,
It's a Hawaiian leper colony.
there's some chuckles.
Whee!
People know.
Somebody's reading up on their Hawaiian
Yeah.
history.
No, they just know they're leper colonies. Yeah. So, you may be thinking, oh, this is just a comedy bit. No. That's a real character.
Oh,
Arm Fall Off Boy.
look at the cross section.
Yep.
It says plorp.
Yep, that's the sound. So if nothing else from tonight, you will come away with the knowledge of what does it sound like when your arm is detached?
Plorp.
Plorp. There.
Excellent.
All right, okay, so let's go.
Okay.
Got a character here. This character goes by the name of Whizzer, not Wizard.
Wizard.
Whizzer.
Wizard.
Whizzer. Has super speed, and got it because he was injected with mongoose blood by his father.
Like he's whizzing around.
That's right. Power of mongoose blood.
Mongoose blood sounds pretty plausible. I'm going to go real.
Real? Okay.
Yep.
Yes!
Oh!
That is a real character.
Okay, I gotta say, that is an unfortunate color of uniform for
An angry
capturing a
face.
wizard.
He's got to get somewhere fast.
I gotta go!
All right.
All right, next up. Big wheel.
Big-
Rolls around inside a great big wheel and commits crimes.
Wait, there's our question mark.
Big wheel.
Big wheel. Inside of a big wheel.
Yeah, like that one guy in the Kinetic Parade in Corvallis every year. Right? He's just in a big wheel. But this guy commits crimes in his big wheel.
I just don't know that you could commit crimes just rolling around like you're in a big tire going down a hill.
Yeah.
You could crash into things, but what value is that from a criminal's perspective?
So you think it's fake?
I think it's fake.
He's
Oh
real.
my God! There's a man inside there.
Jackson Wheel. He was accused of embezzling from his company. He was embezzling from his company. He went into the underworld. The Tinkerer made him the big wheel.
Oh.
And now he just like rolls around robbing stuff.
I didn't know he had little pincher claws. You should have told me that.
Grab the
All right.
bags of money.
Okay. Next up.
Okay.
This one is Stilt Man. Has the power of stilts. That's all I'm saying. The power of stilts.
I actually know this one.
What?
This one is real. He has an exoskeleton. He's from Daredevil.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay.
I had few friends.
Okay. What's next? Lay it on me. Lay it on
Here
me.
we go. Hippodrome.
Is it
Ancient chariot racer.
Oh, so not hippopotamus.
Went through a time portal during a hurricane. From the 200s, lands in modern times. He's got horses that breathe fire, and his whip is lightning. Hippodrome.
If that doesn't exist, it should. But I'm going to say real.
I'm sorry, he's fake. What? Right? Pretty plausible, right? I even named him Septimus Britannicus.
That's a good name. That is a good name.
Write it up.
All right. Okay. Moving on. This one you're not going to get because this one is Asbestos Lady. Does not have the power of asbestos, but wears an asbestos dress.
Say that 3 times.
She
Asbestos
wears an
dress.
asbestos dress.
Asbestos dress.
Her foes are in distress from her asbestos dress. Yes,
No
she wears
man
an
can
asbestos.
caress.
So impervious to.
Okay.
Impervious to fire, naturally. Asbestos lady.
No way. No.
What? Really?
No. Ah!
Yes, of course she is.
That does look like the color of the tile of my childhood home.
It's true. Just to bring down the chuckles a little bit, she actually did, in the comic book, die of mesothelioma. So that's really sad. That's the sad part.
That is sad. But man, way to be like in like connection with the real world.
Yeah, it's the implications of asbestos that kids
Absolutely.
reading comic books knew
They need to know about
what they needed to know.
it. Okay.
All right, what's next?
Paste Pot Pete. Paste Pot Pete. Scientific genius.
Okay.
Commits crimes. Primary weapon. Glue.
All right.
Paste.
I do believe I owned a Fantastic Four comic book when I was younger that had Paste Pot Pete in it.
True.
Oh, he's real. There you go.
We only have 16 more.
Yeah. And there's a Scantron at the end. It's gonna be a while. All right, next up, you're not gonna get this one.
Okay.
This is a German scientist. German scientist coming over in Cold War or something
There are
like that.
so many German scientists.
That's right. German scientist has the power of intangibility. He can move through things pass through him. His real name is Hans Offenheimer. He goes by the code name Hans Off.
Oh, that is a powerful dad joke.
He fights Spider-Man.
You know, okay, so good dad joke. So I'm gonna give it to you, real.
No.
I made it up.
Yes, thank you for indulging me.
Is he married? His wife's name is Intangible.
Ah! All right.
All right, here we go.
Dad jokes around here.
Next one. Hero, silent majority. Member of the off-brand Justice League, the Force of July.
That's a great name.
He can make duplicates of himself. Silent majority.
Okay.
Force of July.
That sounds weird. I'm gonna say yes. Yes. Oh,
He's real.
it's a real character. All right. Well, on that same theme, another sort of patriotic political kind of thing. Here's one for you.
Okay.
Not gonna get this one. Character's name is Almighty Dollar. Real name, J. Pennington Pennypacker, and he's a CPA. That's right.
You
And
still made that up.
And just the cherry on top, he can shoot pennies out of his hands.
Okay, that's a penny too far. No way. Fake.
Are you sure? Are you
Fake,
sure?
fake, fake.
Are you sure?
Penny.
He's real!
I hope he had 2 issues before CPAs around the world revolted.
I'd like to see an issue where he comes back and just laments the fact that people don't use pennies anymore.
That's true. You know, Big Wheel could probably fight him and get his pennies because then he'd be a penny pincher.
All right. Tuck in, I say
Okay.
at the top of the show. We're going all night.
All right. Liver lad. Young boy was getting a liver transplant during an electrical storm, and now he's able to fire acidic bile from his mouth. Melt stuff. Liver lad.
Yeah, so the Legion of Superheroes, a lot of those heroes have lad or lass at the end of their name. So I'm going to go yes. This sounds like a character because they use the word lad.
Yep.
All right.
That'd be quite a ability.
Okay. All right, this is it. The last 2 for all the
marbles.
fake marbles.
Who's winning?
I think I am. Okay.
Okay.
One more.
Okay.
This one is a living piece of urban geography called Danny. Danny the street. He's a living street. He teleports to different places in town at night when no one's looking.
It's an actual street?
An actual street.
Named Danny the Street.
That's alive.
It's
named
not
Danny.
like a gangster name or like, I'm Danny
Nope.
the Street.
No, you think Danny the Street is a mob guy, but no, he's an actual piece of street.
Like he's an asphalt street.
Yep. Sidewalks, buildings, light poles, all of it.
That is so weird, man. It's got to be real. That is so weird.
It is. There's some weird things in comic books.
He says, Danny, you're back. What was there before? Just a chasm between those two blocks?
Yeah. Could have been in the middle of nowhere.
I wonder if he is are there regular streets and then Danny lays on those streets, or how do you know Danny's there?
There's so many questions you want answered.
Step on a crack.
Got to read more.
Break Danny's back. Okay, I got the last one.
All right.
This amazing, super powered person can change any part of his body into an animal, vegetable, or mineral. So he could turn his arm into a dinosaur, and his leg into a celery stalk, and his right hand into some basalt.
Okay.
And his name, Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man. He's great at 20 questions.
Yeah, the answer is yes to everything. Okay, so that's weird enough. Clearly, we have living streets. But I don't even know how that would work, practically speaking. I don't know. I'm going to say that that's fake. Okay. See, it's fake. Oh my God! I have more questions now than I did when you said that.
He's giant, apparently.
Yeah.
Massive.
There's a dinosaur coming out of his face.
Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man.
All right. Well, okay, well, final tally, who knows? Thank you. Who knows? Nobody knows who won that exercise. All right, but thank you for indulging us. I think we are brushed up. We're ready to go for Black Panther in a few days.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so let's bring out our first special guest. This is a person, because today is Groundhog Day, so we thought we would commemorate the occasion and bring in an actual animal expert who I believe is bringing a groundhog here. So please, if you could, welcome a renowned animal expert, Barnabas Rothschild, please. All right.
This is my stagehand. He's my backup here. This is Rixby.
Okay.
Found him in the bush. That's a New Zealand outback.
All right.
Doesn't speak a word of English. Would you pop downstairs and give me a tea? Tea. Hot tea. Just gonna go back down there.
Okay. Yeah, there's a spiral staircase right there. In
Yes,
case
right back there.
Okay.
Haven't seen you in a while, Michael.
Yeah,
Show?
it's been a while. Last time we were talking about some other animals, but I thought,
That's right.
yeah,
You said he's too dangerous ever since I brought that parasitic fish that entered your body.
yeah.
How's that been?
I still can't go swimming.
No?
No.
Just takes over.
Yeah, for a variety of reasons, legal reasons, some of them, but I can't go swimming.
Yeah, well, you said keep it safe, keep it simple.
Okay.
Brought my little groundhog friend here.
Yeah, well,
Juniper.
Juniper. Oh.
Juniper's sleeping right now.
Hello,
Sit-
Juniper.
Sit Juniper up here on the lip so Junie can get a little sleep. Maybe we'll wake up in a moment. There's Juniper for you.
All
Go,
right.
Junie!
Ju-
Oh, crumbs!
Oh.
Juniper dodges fell.
That's all right. That's
He's gonna be safe. He's fine.
Yeah.
What you don't realise is that groundhogs, soft fur, skin made of stone. Indestructible creatures, these are.
Really?
Indestructible creatures.
So,
Go on!
There he is. There's Junie.
Made of stone.
Made of stone, ain't you, Junie?
Yeah, I am.
Hi, Juniper.
How's it going?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. You know, just busy with the business.
Just a jumping groundhog it is.
okay. I was going to ask some questions about, Groundhog Day and anything. So now I have questions about the voice.
Perfect, Sam. What's wrong with the voice of a groundhog?
I
Damn.
didn't realize they could talk.
Oh, yeah. We talk all the time. Because all groundhogs are just people that were bit by groundhogs.
Oh.
It's absolutely true. If you're bitten by a groundhog, they're venomous. They turn you into a werehog. February 2nd, you go full hog.
Oh, so this day every year, we call it
Groundhog Day because this is when all the people turn back into groundhogs.
Yeah!
this holiday is far darker than I thought.
Yep. The movie did not do it justice. And that's because all the people in Hollywood, bloody groundhogs,
Really?
secret hogs.
I thought I was just going to learn about a little holiday tradition or whatever, but this is getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Was this groundhog here a person, or is this an actual groundhog?
Juniper, what happened to you?
Well, I'm the first groundhog that ever existed.
Yep, Juniper's Groundhog Prime. There never was a groundhog before Juniper. How old are you, Junie?
I'm 8 billion years
8
old.
billion. Older than the Earth itself. Came here on what, a comet?
I did. I wrote a comment because I bit it, and it was my slave.
It
Barnabas.
fit right into that comet.
Oh, yeah. Her teeth are very sharp and venomous.
Barnabas, I'm getting some echoes of the time you brought that fish.
The Kandiri finds any opening and just swims right up you.
Yeah.
Gets its teeth in.
There wasn't any water that time, so it's very complicated. Is this really? Is it?
He.
Yeah.
Is it really the very first groundhog that has ever existed?
Oh,
Just tell me that much.
Well, Juniper can speak for himself, as you can plainly hear.
Yeah, I'm a sentient being.
So,
Writes poetry.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, quick question. Why do you spend most of your time just predicting the weather? I mean, if you're that old and powerful.
Well, groundhogs. Junie. Oh, you want treat? You want treat?
Yeah.
You want treat? There you go. Oh, there you go. Mindful. Don't bite. Amazing meteorologist, these is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pick them up, predict the weather.
And we gotta trick people into thinking we're dumb so we can bite more.
What?
What? I mean, nope.
It's the first I've ever heard of this plan for global domination, but you
All
know
right,
what? I'm fine with it.
Okay, well, I think the audience has some preparations to make. Cans of dog food to collect and whatnot.
I just say, accept it. Groundhog's here to stay, right?
Yeah.
Anything to add, Junie?
Just know that there's a lot more of us than you think.
A lot more of it than you think.
And you could be next.
All right, Barnabas Rothschild, everybody.
Hey, Junie, did you give him a pet before you go?
Hi.
Oh,
stop!
I tracked him. He's asleep now. He's asleep, and we'll take him backstage. Come on, Junie.
All right. All right, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Barnabas Rothschild. All right.
Do you feel different?
Not now, but in 6 weeks when it's very warm, I will feel different.
Powerful.
All right, let's move on to our first real important guest. Clearly that one went off the rails. Our first guest here, I was blown away that I got a reply and said, hey, yeah, I'll come over and do your show, because I feel like we're in the presence of someone very important in our community. Please welcome as our first guest, State Senator Sarah Gelser. Okay, thank you so much for coming onto our show.
Thank you for inviting me, even though I'm not funny.
That's okay.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, we just put a lot of people that we know and that are very sympathetic to us in the audience.
I think state senators are hilarious.
Yeah. We get that slide right there. Oh no, we missed our slide for Barnes. There we go. Okay, so you're a Corvallisite, right? Corvallis.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yes.
So you live in the area. You're a state senator. You got into politics. I just want to jump right into the why question, because politics seems like it's a hard business. Why would you get into politics?
I like people. People are fun. They're interesting. They don't talk as much as groundhogs, but
Okay.
they are very interesting.
All right, good. So going out, meeting with constituents and stuff like that, hearing stories. What are some interesting things that you've heard from people? What have you learned about neighbors and people in your community that makes you kind of think like, maybe I shouldn't have been talking to my friends and neighbors?
Well, I do get some very interesting emails. I think perhaps my favorite email that I've ever gotten was, probably about 8 or 9 years ago. And it was a recommendation for corrections reform. And the idea was that people could sign up voluntarily to reduce their sentences in half if they would agree to be put into a drug-induced comma. COMMA. Now, if you had agreed to be part of the drug-induced comma situation, we could save a lot of money because you'd be 6 months in a comma, 6 months out of a comma, and we could stack the people in the comma on top of each other, and we could save a lot of money on food.
Wow.
So a lot of really interesting ideas come in.
And before people get released, there's just like a short pause.
Question mark?
Yeah. That is very interesting. So I don't remember hearing that in the so did you actually submit a bill to the House?
I did not introduce that bill. I did later introduce another bill that was very well intentioned. It was to crack down on travel agents that arranged basically tours to have physical relationships with children in other countries, which is a terrible problem and something that shouldn't happen. Unfortunately, it turned out that the way the bill was drafted would have actually made it illegal to have sex in the state of Oregon if you didn't own a car. The Department of Justice came and talked to me. They pointed this out. They said, you represent a university community. You're not going to be very popular. We suggest that you not.
All right.
So is it that seems like a pretty serious misplaced modifier,
Yeah, it had to do with transportation, arranging the transportation of a person.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like this is all very watch your sentences, kids. Watch your punctuation.
Yeah, if you have a comma in the wrong place, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
It could really elongate your sentence.
Ah. Yeah.
This is fun.
All right, well, that's very interesting. That is very interesting. And yeah, I think we have some of our English faculty here in the audience, so they appreciate hearing that. This is something we can take away to our students here at LBCC and say, things will really backfire if you don't learn what I'm about to tell you.
Exactly.
So, very
exactly.
good. Very good. All right, so I was doing a little Facebook stalking. I was trying to get some information, right?
Yeah.
Things to talk about here. And I found, I think on the Facebook, that you have an appreciation for comfy socks. Is this true?
Comfy socks with good designs are incredibly important.
Okay.
I mean, doesn't
Good.
everybody have a pair of Lucky socks?
Lucky socks?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We do have that. So I am fond of just wearing clothes until they literally fall off. So what's the longest, if you do have a favorite pair of socks, a lucky pair of socks, what's the longest you've had it before it was this has to be sent up in flames?
Oh wow, that's a hard question. I've had some Elmo socks for a very, very long time, and some gnome socks. I'm saying 5-6 years, but it's hard to actually part with them. There's a special drawer to which the dead socks go, if they're lucky. I mean, you don't want to dispose of a friend.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, a little sock graveyard maybe in your backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
With honor.
Okay, good, yeah.
Do you play taps when you're burying the socks, or?
We have not added music yet, but I think there should be a sock burial soundtrack.
I feel like that's just the next natural step.
It could be a new family tradition. It could be, let's do it.
Yeah.
I could introduce a bill. We could all do that.
That's right. To make it, we get maybe tax credits in support of clothing funerals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, relating to the burial of socks.
Okay,
Yeah.
starts with socks, but then it could be maybe anything because.
Yeah. I mean, a good red scarf.
Yeah. I mean, those don't come along every year.
No.
So you got to commemorate those.
You do.
Okay, good.
It's
So
very
we'll be on
important.
the lookout for that.
Okay.
We're going to hold you to that, and we may vote accordingly. Because that's what we want. So speaking of comfy socks, this is something special to you. We're in a political climate now. Oh, there's so much tension and stuff like that. So if you were giving a pair of socks to a political opponent, describe them. What would they say something? Would they be like your Elmo socks? Or what would you give to your opponent as a gesture of like, hey, we need to work together here?
Oh, wow. That is I think probably a copy of my black set of purple unicorn socks, because purple unicorns bring us together. They are magic. And who doesn't like a purple unicorn? I mean, all of us. And that elusive public policy that we can all agree on is the unicorn.
Yeah.
So.
There we go. That's yes. We should applaud for that. All right, one more little, just a quick question here, and then we're going to move on to stuff. So every guest tonight, this is a little aside, every guest tonight, I'm going to ask you what you would bring to a hypothetical potluck. So all the guests here tonight, obviously, except for Barnabas Rothschild, because can't trust that guy. Everybody's going to be asked what you're going to bring, what you would bring to a potluck. So you get to go first. You can pick anything in any category, dessert, main dish, something like that. What's your go-to potluck item? I'm making a menu.
My go-to potluck item is a vegan pesto pasta salad.
Okay.
With sun-dried tomatoes.
Vegan pesto pasta salad. All right. Very good. All right. So we will read off that menu later. That's for later. Just so you know, we're going to be. We're going to make this meal. This is the second part of the show. I hope you guys brought groceries. Did you get that in the email? Okay. Thought that was in the email. Okay, so in the news also, in case anyone doesn't know, you found yourself, I think, a key part of this big national moment that we're in right now. The Me Too movement is an extension of that. You had appeared in the Time Magazine's Persons of the Year because of your stand against sexual harassment in the workplace and stuff like that that's happened over the fall. So why do we think this is happening now? It seemed like Harvey Weinstein was like the tipping point that just opened up things, but it can't just be like one funny-looking Hollywood producer. Like, what's your take on why this moment is happening right now?
I think that social media helped people use a hashtag that actually was created years ago by an African-American woman, and all too often social movements are started by women of color who never get credit for it, and that is completely wrong. So just credit to all the women out there that are doing the work and don't get the acknowledgement. But for whatever reason, in that moment, I think that hashtag gave mothers and daughters and sisters and brothers and cousins the ability to share an experience with one another where they didn't have to find what the words were to do that. And I think that created a moment of courage for a lot of people. And my hope is that as we move forward, it is really a change in our culture. I mean, if you look at, comedy, we're on a comedy show. Al Franken, 3 years ago, I don't know that people would have recognized that it is never funny to tell a joke about sexual assault. There is nothing funny about it. It's never funny. It shouldn't be a joke. You shouldn't laugh, and you simply shouldn't do it. And I think that is the place that we're at right now. When you go to work, you have a right to be at work and do your job and not have people put their hands all over you. That is not an assumption that a lot of women, especially young women, have in the workplace. These things happen to them. They think that's the way that it is, and that they have to deal with that if they want to be successful. So my hope is that, started by some powerful women who are working in hidden places, that we can start talking about this. And that it isn't just about politicians and attorneys and people in Hollywood, but we recognize how this is really impacting farm workers and people that are working in restaurants and people that are working in hotels and hospitals and janitorial workers. And these are the people that can't put their faces on the front of a magazine because their choice is, do I speak up? And if I do that, does that mean I can't buy shoes for my child anymore? And that's not a fair choice. And so those of us that can have the privilege to speak need to do that, recognizing that this is about everyone. And it's especially about those that can't speak up.
So 2 takeaway points I have from that. That's an amazing, just amazing statement. And also you said you were on a comedy show.
She's admitted it.
You have acknowledged that this is actually comedy. So thank you very much. It's legal. It's legal. It's in the legal books.
Validation.
Okay, so we thought we would end with one little, it's a comedy show, one little silly little comedy bit to test out, since you are an expert, let's say, on this kind of stuff. So I stumbled upon this a little while ago. This was a board game from 1966 called What Shall I Be? The exciting game of career girls.
Yes!
The career options were ballerina, actress, airline hostess or stewardess, teacher, model, and nurse. 6 options, that was it. And those are legitimate careers and everything like that. You would go around the board and try to, amass enough experience points or whatever to get into one of these careers. But the interesting thing about this 1966 game were some of the cards that you would come across that tell you different things, like about your personality, your qualifications, and whether or not you can be in certain careers. So if you can see this, some of them are okay, like, you're good at hairstyling, so you can be a model or an actress. But some of them, just incredibly insulting. Such as, your makeup is too sloppy. You are a slow thinker. And if you can't see, here we are right there. And that would tell you that you can't go into certain career paths based on these things. So this was 1966, bygone era. They had other cards on there that would say, like, you're friendly, you're a hard worker. So it wasn't all just like, yeah, girls, like it wasn't that.
Except it was.
But it was. So I thought we would just, I was like, oh man, we got to revamp this. So I got really excited. Leslie, who for whatever reason just lets me do whatever I want at this job.
That's true.
I was like, I'm going to come up with a new board game and then get your feedback and see if it's going to work. So I started. This is as far as I got, pretty much. But Leslie, you said it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
I
job,
like
buddy.
the lots of shapes. That's
Yeah.
a good, it's visually appealing.
I think it's important to have a game where you really don't know where you're going or where you're supposed to go.
It's like
There's
life.
no direction. Yeah. So here's the game board that we're working on. But I thought I would get your feedback on some cards. Okay. So these are some of the cards that people are going to turn up, and then you tell me if this is like going to inspire somebody into a new career, or maybe I should revise my language. Okay. So
Great.
pull up a card, and it says you are obsessed with cats.
We need veterinarians and wildlife biologists,
Okay.
safari guides.
All right, more career options. Good, very good. Okay, next card, you're going around the board, you pull up a card and it says, you collect dryer lint.
Positive reframe.
Yeah.
Career.
How could this be?
Yeah.
Engineer.
Okay, very good. All right, see, this is good. I thought I was gonna have to change these, but clearly they work. All right, you're going around the board, you pull up a card and it says, you spend more time picking your nose in the shower than actually washing your body.
Ear, nose, and throat doctor.
This is, all right, you don't know the capital of Kentucky.
People in
President of the
Kentucky
United
don't know
States.
this.
Oh, zing! All the career options are on the table. All right. And how about this one? You haven't written an email to your grandmother in years.
I think you need to change the card. I mean, who would do that? Nobody's going to hire you if you don't take care of your grandmother and your mother. Always call your mother and your grandmother.
Okay.
That's good advice. That's good advice.
I might need to also change the game because all of these cards actually come from my home. And I don't have to rule. I'm not going to be a career girl.
She could be an ENT.
Well, thank you very much for being on our show. Round of applause.
Thanks for having me.
It's good stuff.
That is good.
She was lovely.
Yeah.
I feel fantastic to be represented by her.
I think next time we don't invite her to be a guest. She's just going to host the show.
She'll just say smart things all day.
All right, so we have another guest coming up who, that's a tough act to follow, but we know this next guest certainly can. This guest is our Lynn County Circuit Judge. Please welcome Faye Stetz-Waters.
Excited to be at Tripp Live.
All right.
I really appreciate that your phone matches your ensemble.
I planned that.
That's so good.
Thank you.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, so Faye, I was getting some information from you about you and amassing, your journey here to Albany. It's a question many of us might have, like, how did you end up here? So what got you? What was your path to get here to Albany and into circuit court judging?
I-5.
Oh, okay.
No. A little more than that. No, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Grew up very far from here. And my road to Lynn County is long and interesting.
You have military experience? You were
Yeah.
military? Okay.
Yeah. At age 17, I joined the Marine Corps. I was.
Is that the hoorahs or the hoo-yahs?
That's the
Or
oorahs.
the oor?
That's the oorahs.
Oorahs.
Few the proud Marines.
Why are they all so close? Sorry.
Okay. So I joined the Marine Corps at 17 and against my mother's wishes. And when I turned 18, I went to Parris Island at boot camp and started doing push-ups and got outdoors and learned some discipline and some perseverance and became part of a team. And I loved it. And then after that, I was kind of addicted to paramilitary structures, so I went to work at a police department as a 911 dispatcher because I wanted to respond with calm when people were in crisis and keep track of police officers all over the community. Because I like...
It's amazing that you didn't get a career in the theater.
You know, I have a twin sister, and she is an actress.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we could use that steady, calm hand operating things here.
Yeah.
So in case, this whole fly-by-night judging thing doesn't work. Come on, there's no pay. But,
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. And so after, while I was working as a 911 dispatcher, at night I decided to go to community college. And, yay, community college! And I just took classes because it was fun. It was during this time I met my wife. I met her the old-fashioned way, in a bar. And she happened to be from Oregon. She was finishing up school in Massachusetts. I was living in Connecticut. And she took me on that, she asked me that important question, would you like to meet my parents? And I said yes, and she invited me to Oregon. And when I came here, I was amazed, I was blown away. It's the opposite of Baltimore, Maryland. Lots of trees, mountains, the ocean, the lushness. It was so beautiful, I was struck and I was moved. And this felt like home. And so I knew I wanted to move here. And I had this wonderful woman who lived here, and so we made a plan to move here. And she accepted a job at Lynn Benton Community College right here. Yeah. We've been here since 2007, and I started my career at Legal Aid. And so I've done a whole bunch of things since then, but now I've come back to work in Lynn County as a circuit court judge.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I like the Baltimore connection too, because I'm a native Oregonian, but then I moved to Baltimore for a short period of time.
Why?
Which is wow. have to talk to my wife about that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a culture shock, I'm guessing, in reverse, because it certainly was coming from, oh, sweet, polite, don't jaywalk Oregon, to Baltimore at the time that The Wire was on TV.
Yes, yes, yes. Very hard, very cold, versus very green and very lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But finding that Baltimore natives were, grew up on the exterior, but man, they were some nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great people.
Yeah.
So it's not like hairspray?
No. No.
There are parts that are like John Waters movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, tell us about, so you came here and you got into, you said legal aid, you
Yeah.
were appointed recently. How does one get appointed to this circuit court? I mean, like,
Sure. Great question.
yeah.
Well, after I left legal aid, I was great with administrative laws and rules, and so I took a job as an administrative law judge. So I went from this advocacy role to this kind of neutral decision maker. And I wanted, because I was curious about due process, this crucial right that we have as people in this country, this right to be heard and to be able to tell your story. And so I took this job as an administrative law judge. And then I took another job as a hearings officer, same kind of deal, but working with a different population. And I also did that at Oregon State University, so I'm really interested in due process. And then there was a vacancy on the bench, which does not happen often. And so my friends nagged me, said, put your name in. And I said, no, it's not time. And they said, you said you would. And so I did. And
So you said name in to a hat. Is there a literal hat you put your name in?
it is an application. You put your name on an application, and they put the application in a hat. No.
Oh, it does go, oh, okay.
I thought it was like the cup, like the Harry Potter Tri-Wizard tournament.
You know,
That's not what it is, huh?
No, it's
No.
not. It's not. It's a room full of Lynn County lawyers and judges who pepper you with questions and to see how you're going to answer, and then they decide if you should move on to the next round of interviews. And so it's a series of interviews before you get to the governor's office. And then the governor decides. She meets with you and says, okay, why do you want to do this?
Is that how
What?
she sounds?
No, that's not quite
Oh,
how she
okay.
said. That's how I said. No. And so I was so excited when I got the call. I was at the physical therapist's office, and my phone rang. And I missed the call, actually, when she called. And my physical therapist said, hey, I think that was your phone. You said the governor might call. You might get a phone call. You can see that my life is attached to my phone. And so she left a message. So I had called the governor back. And I said, hi, Governor Brown, this is Faye calling. And she said, hi, Faye calling. And she offered me the job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Yeah.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Sure, ask a dumb question.
What's a circuit court?
Circuit court. So, a long time ago, in a big state like Oregon, you had one judge, and the judge would go around a circuit. So the judge would move as opposed to people coming to the court. Yeah, so that's where the circuit court judge
Okay.
label comes from. Fun. Now we can just come to the courthouse.
All right, well, oops. My batteries are dead. So
Uh-oh.
That's very interesting. We learned so much tonight. We're learning so much. I appreciate that. One more thing that we do need to learn from you, though, is the potluck. What you bring in, you can't bring pasta salad. That has been claimed. Sarah's bringing our pasta salad. So anything else that would go with pasta salad, dessert hasn't been claimed.
Dessert.
Okay.
I claim dessert.
And your go-to dessert, when you do a dinner party, when you're invited to a dinner party, and they say, oh, nobody's claimed dessert, hey, you want to do that? What do you bring?
Bacon, chocolate, crack. Saltine crackers mixed with butter and sugar, topped with chocolate and shaved salt and crunchy bacon. It's
That sounds
delicious.
ridiculous. Let's go
It's
make some right now.
delicious.
I thought the show might have to end because we weren't being very entertaining, but it's going to have to end because no one's paying attention to anything else now, other than what you just said.
Cow.
All right.
Can you see like the bubble in my head? Like
Yeah.
it's me
Baking
eating
chocolate
that
crap.
saltine.
So since we have you here, one last thing before you go. Since it's not every day that you have an esteemed judge in your presence, so you have to really just exploit the crap out of that. We have a dispute.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Leslie and I have a dispute.
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
I should say Leslie has more of a dispute than I do. But we're going to resolve it because that's the person I am.
Yep.
So
I need your judging.
we need the judging powers. Sorry. Let me put my clip art up here. Now it's legal. Now it's real.
Yes. Your Honor.
Yes. I object.
Sustained.
Okay. So the dispute. Let's say you are bringing a dish to someone's house. Maybe not a big formal dinner party thing, but you're just like, oh, okay, I'll bring something over. And let's say, as one might do with some Mexican cuisine or something like that, you just put a little cilantro in there. Not a big thing. It's not like dominated by it. It just happens to be in there. People might think it's nothing. It's just one of those little green flecks that is often in foods.
Often people try to pass it off as parsley.
So the question,
It's not parsley.
is one more legally culpable for not declaring the status of cilantro in a dish, or is one more, let's say, punishable, more, on her way to dinner jail, for making a big deal out of it and saying that it was a problem?
I did not make it. I very politely ate around it,
That right there.
picked it out.
Eating around something. That's like, I wasn't looking when I shot the gun.
So first off, sidebar. May I approach the bench?
You may.
Okay. Is that what you say?
That's what I say.
Law and order. 15 years. Sidebar, approach the bench. Cilantro is a very strong herb, and I would like to present Exhibit A here. This is an article from the New York Times that cites that people have a genetic predisposition to not liking cilantro. And it tastes really, really bad to them. It tastes like dirt or soap, and that's real. And it's not our fault. It's our genes. And
Who
so
let these people in here?
It is completely allowable to pick the cilantro out of a dish, and no one should get bent out of shape about it.
All right.
What do you say, Judge?
I agree with her.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as they say, it's a fair cop. I gotta accept the will of the court.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
This whole courtroom's out of order. What other things can we say?
You won. You can't say that.
This whole courtroom's out of order.
All right. We have
can
taken
stand
up
to
enough of your time. Thank you so much. Let's get to our next guest. This is a very special person. I am very lucky to consider this person a friend, and I think she has had coffee with my mother a couple times, which makes her a very, very formidable person. Please welcome the mayor of Albany, Sharon Canoba. So thank you for coming here. You're very active, you're very present in the community. We see you at different events. You told me something when we were scheduling this, that you may have had a conflict because of a quilt judging.
Quilt judging
thing
was
that you're a part
last
of?
night,
Okay.
and today was actually another fundraiser banquet. But I turned that down to join you, Michael.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. They didn't need the money anyways, probably.
Actually, you booked me earlier than they did.
Oh, sweet. All right.
Yeah.
So I asked this question of other guests on here. You are in politics. You're in politics in Albany, which is really not an easy place. but you seem unflappable. You seem just really committed to this community. So you've been mayor since, is it 2009? Is that right?
Yeah, so this is my 10th year as mayor and 22nd year on the city council, because I was 12 years before as city councilor.
Oh.
But you couldn't before that. But as I tell people, I was the youngest person 22 years ago on the city council, and I'm still the youngest person on the city council. And I'm getting old, so yeah.
So they're always calling you still whippersnapper and all that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So in your tenure here and working in Albany politics, I don't know, what's something that always jumps out at you is like, that's a crowning achievement, that's a moment you're proud of, something you were involved in from the last 22 years or so?
Actually, I'm really proud of our carousel, our historic carousel downtown. So, there is Gordon and Wendy out there. So yeah, that took many years, and which we have a wonderful community, and we would not have accomplished that without the many committed volunteers, and Wendy is instrumental in that. That I can see. I can't see too many faces, but I can see Wendy and Gordon sitting there. But it's a great project for Albany. And also, finally, we got our new police station and our new downtown fire station. So those were a great accomplishment. And Talking Water Gardens is one that I've been really proud of, that project that we have done. So there's been a lot. It's just the overall revitalization of the community. That's just sort of what I've been really, advocating on. And we did get the Waverly Lake duck back in the lake last year. So that was a fun project. It's back, but I'd sure like to get a beaver in the lake too. So I think I'll work on that one.
That's amazing. Those are some great things. I remember moving here to Albany and seeing downtown and just the history, and then when we got here, this was like 2011 or so it was fairly early in the carousel project, and we've been going back there. I know other families and people here who've been checking in and seeing those animals being carved and painted, and it's just, it's such an amazing thing to see them up.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So proud achievements. What's like a crazy thing? What's something where you're like, man, that could only happen here, or anything do you remember that's just like really kind of weird and off, or jumps out at you as being like, that's bonkers?
Yeah, not really, nothing except maybe some people would think we're crazy with having the duck back in the lake, but that was a fun project, so. So no, nothing that really jumps out at me at that. That was kind of a crazy type project.
Well, that's good, that's
Yeah.
good. And that kind of combats this impression that, at least I have of Albany, that it's a crazy place.
Yeah,
All right.
it's a fun, we want it to be a fun
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So that's my goal.
Well, not crazy with a calm, steady, experienced hand at the till there, leading us. So yeah, we appreciate your guidance there. Before I forget, we got to fill out this menu, because man, who's bringing what to this potluck? Can't take pasta salad. Don't bring a dessert. What would you bring? What's a dish that you always bring? It's always a hit. People invite you to dinner parties. This is your thing.
I'm not a cook, so.
So
Anyone
you
that knows
bring-
me, usually if it's a potluck, I'll bring like a fruit bowl, fruit tray, or a cut up veggies, and I like a mandarin salad dressing.
We need the
That's
fruit and
about
veggie
it.
tray.
Yeah.
That's good. That's healthy. That's a very responsible. I'm going to be on YouTube later. Answer.
Okay.
That's good.
I appreciate the fruit tray because it is the only thing my children will eat.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they'll take one look at the vegan pesto thing and go running, and
It's healthy.
yeah, they'll be like chocolate bacon. Ah! They'll attack that fruit tray like a couple of wild dogs that they are.
Okay, so we're only a month or so into 2018, but you obviously have your finger on the pulse of the whole community. So what's something here, us in the audience right now, can look forward to? What's on the horizon? What should we be looking out for in the rest of 2018 for Albany?
So one thing kind of we're working on, and it's sort of kind of my goal too, is to get the church, the 1892 Cumberland Presbyterian Church that's on Main Street, get it moved over by Hackelman Park and get it fully restored for a community center. So that way, Michael, you can start having some of your acts there in the community center. How does that sound?
I support that all the time.
I'm doing it for you.
That sounds great. So we will keep tabs on that. We will be on the lookout for that. One last thing, because I got contacted from some people who knew we were having this show, and specifically you were going to be on the show. So we're gonna kind of put your patience and understanding and calm demeanor to the test. This is he wanted to go by Albany Man on the Street. He didn't want to give a name. So we do have, he's got something to say. Albany Man on the Street, the mayor's here. It's
hello.
you can walk.
Can you let me in the door here?
It's moving. There we go.
A gentleman told me to give that to you. Oh, there's more than one person in here. Oh, it's me, your friendly neighborhood citizen of the place.
So here's the mayor, and in case this is a good opportunity, I guess, in the middle of the show, if you had a complaint or a comment or suggestion.
Well, I think we're all very enthusiastic about a few of the things you mentioned, but I speak for the community when I say we have some questions. And we demand answers. Am I right? We demand answers. Yes. I have a list. We have polled the citizens of 2,000 submissions, and here are their top 3 questions. Number 1, Mrs. Mayor. We see a bunch of the parks in the city. We love them. We see the playgrounds, the cut grass, beautiful. But as has been noted by several members of the community, the playgrounds are focused primarily towards children. Now, Mrs. Mayor, when will the time come for the parent-focused playgrounds? Yes!
I'm looking forward to you to design that playground for me.
I bit off more than I can chew. Question 2. Take photograph. Oh, I'm moonlighting for the Democrat Herald as a member of the paparazzo. Okay. I caught you. Question 2. How do you say it? If you're from this town, are we Albanians or Albanites? Officially, Mrs. Mayor, we need to know.
We're Albanians.
Ah, you heard me. And finally, the big question. This goes straight from your mouth, sir. I'm asking this on you. The United States, Russia, and China. What's in common? They all have international space programs. Mrs. Mayor, isn't it time for Albany to have our own international space program? What's wrong with you?
You betcha. Just get that passed by the voters, okay?
We'll do what it takes. I'm thoroughly happy with you. No more questions.
All right.
I didn't want to make a mess.
All right. You just walk around.
It's not a real door.
No. Just there you go. That's good. Okay. Well, you handled that incredibly well.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you think so.
That guy's been having me for weeks, so appreciate you dealing with that. And I appreciate you very much coming on the show and gracing us with your presence. Thank you so much.
Oh, I just did the weird, we did the weird thing where we didn't know what we were handshaking. I did it with the mayor. It was very embarrassing.
I think in legal terms, they can weigh in on this. I think this negates that ruling that you just gave us.
Because of the handshake?
Yeah. Gotta get you your constitutional law.
Right.
All right, who's our next guest? Oh my goodness. Let's welcome to the stage, this is someone who didn't have to come very far to make it here because her office is over there a little bit. Please welcome to the stage LCC Vice President Ann Butler. Before we get started here, I'm sure there's a lot of deep, dark secrets about LVCC that you're going to tell us. But I just realized I have all these papers here. I don't have the right one, or at least it's missing some words. Could you got to give me some words to fill in the missing script here. Could you give me an adjective? It's just part of my script.
I have to remember parts of speech here.
Okay, just yeah.
I used to like English.
So did the prison population. Working.
Funny.
Okay. Good. And another adjective, please.
Colorful.
Okay. Could I get a noun?
Oh, I did know. Did you all read in the paper that Leslie is LVCC's dean? The dean.
Seven of us.
I read that yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Sorry.
A noun, please. Just
Skeleton.
skeleton. Very good. A verb in the past tense. Jumped. Or
Run.
run. Maybe college, so we can work out.
It's like we're in a medically induced coma.
And could I just two more? A plural noun, please.
Heads.
Heads. And one more plural noun, and that's it.
This is harder than it looks. Dresses.
Okay, very good. Okay, we'll come back to that later, because it's a different part of it's actually for much later in the show.
Oh. Much later. So sorry.
So, Vice President at LVCC, I'm sure that involves, some very important big wig sort of thing. How did you get into that? Like, did you start here and work your way up the ladder? What's your origin story for this institution?
Well, I became a vice president because many years ago I couldn't find a job as a middle school teacher. Tumbled right in.
The hacks, what's your name is?
To this, yeah.
Quite simple.
I didn't even know what an community college was. I'm from Ohio, and I moved to Oregon, and it said community college. I had no idea. I applied and got a job, and just kind of stumbled my way
Found your way
through on. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just woke up one day and there's a little placard on Vice President.
Very true. Yeah.
So is that how you conduct business as Vice President? Walk into a room, I think I have a meeting here.
I find that works really well.
Well, the institution is doing pretty well, so evidently you shouldn't stop.
It's because we have the dean over here.
Yeah. LCC's motto, as you might have seen on print information, stuff like that, is inspire. Okay. So you clearly have made your way through this institution. You had educational experiences before that, I'm guessing, right? Or did you go to school?
I really did.
Okay. You didn't just like have a backpack so what has inspired you to set this course? Like, did you have a mentor or a teacher way back when or anything like that?
I like to tell people what to do.
Okay. So you were inspired by, the boss character on the TV show that you're watching, or Sun Tzu, or
I have no idea what Sun Tzu is.
well, you're like a walking, talking hardcore.
Oh, whatever that is, sure.
I think most guests in the future of the show are going to be really sleepy, because then we get
It's almost as if you had something to say about the bigger picture of what you do and why you're driven to do this important work. That would be something that our audience would like to know about.
I just should also know that I did get some direction from our host here that had nothing to do with the question that he's asking me. Somewhat put on the spot, and again, not at my best. Should we go through what you wrote down?
You knew that Inspire question was coming. I remember that was a key.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And you had a layup right there, Leslie Inspire.
I feel like we're in a tense meeting at work.
I'm starting to see, we're getting first-hand evidence of a vice president at work.
Yeah, it's not pretty, yeah.
Right.
Okay, what was the question again?
Oh, we know the answer. Okay, changing gears here just ever so slightly, so that both Leslie and I can keep our job. The potluck. So now things have been chosen for the menu. We have the vegan pesto pasta salad that Sarah's bringing. Faye's bringing the bacon chocolate crack. Sharon is bringing the fruit and veggie tray. What that would coordinate with that? What's something that you often bring to dinner parties and potlucks?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, and so typically they tell the vegetarian to bring the vegetable tray. The most boring potluck item ever. And it seems like we don't have a main dish.
That's true. We could use a big main.
So as a vegetarian, I would just bring the cow. And then everyone would wonder how the vegetarian did in cooking said cow.
Okay.
Or it's like cook, you don't just like bring a cow.
Oh, no, I would do something.
I wrote down live cow. All right.
It
So.
was twitching a little bit. It would have been like on the grill, would have been for rare. 2 seconds and then flip it.
That'd be like the best potluck.
Yeah. Well, I put beef, but I put it in quotation marks.
Sounds good.
So I think that encapsulates what you're offering. So LECC is clearly a major part of the community. We have lots of thousands of students that come through here, employ lots of people. And again, you're in a position of power. You know what's going on. What's something that the public who may not be working or going to school here, what's something that the public might want to know that we have going on? What's in the pipeline right now for LECC that you can tell us about?
I think one of the most exciting things is all of our remodeling and restructuring. You know, we have a beautiful healthcare application center in Lebanon. So if you haven't been out there, it's totally wonderful and gorgeous. On main campus, we are going to be remodeling the Takina area here. Wonderful for students, for advising, for financial aid, just a much more warmer, welcoming space. And then in Corvallis, we purchased some property in Corvallis, and we are going to be remodeling a building that's already there and expanding quite a bit of our general education offerings and to increase our partnership with Oregon State University. So every community has a little something.
Well, that's great. We have one last thing, and that is you are a runner, correct? In fact, I heard that you have like a half marathon tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
You're a runner.
Roaring River.
So that seems like it would be an intense thing that would require, as one might say, inspiration to keep going, right? So you need something. You listen to music, but you have a mantra or something like that. So the script part that I didn't have, that you have supplied for us, is you filled out the mantra.
I do.
Yeah. So it was Mad Lib style, in case anybody was concerned. Would you? Well, I'll have you read the second one. The first mantra. This is something that everybody can use now. It's a takeaway from tonight's show. It's a mantra to inspire you, just as Anne has been inspired and inspired us all.
Yeah,
Two
that's
mantras. Yeah. So our mantra, 2 mantras for tonight. The first one is, the funny tree in the forest was once just a colorful seed that runned its skeleton. Yeah. So think about that one.
I'll use that tomorrow.
At mile 7 or 8.
Got it.
Okay. And then this one, if you can read my quick handwriting, is this one right here. The other mantra that you gave us.
Big heads begin with small dresses.
All right. for indulging us. Round of applause for Ann Butler.
She's a fast runner.
Yeah, she's already gone.
Yeah.
We have one more guest. This is very, well, two guests. One more set of chances. But we're very excited to have our next guest, our last guest for the show tonight. These are the owners of the Pix Theater in downtown Albany, a wonderful establishment. God, that place is amazing. Please welcome to the stage Rod and Denise Binger. The music changed a little bit. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Especially on a Friday night. This is a busy time for movie theater owners, I'm guessing.
Yeah. We bailed out. Right as the movie was starting, we took off.
Do you have to get back from the movies?
No, we have people that sweep.
Oh, okay. Or else it would just like restart the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, we told the people that came in last, just lock the door on your way out.
I told you it's a great place.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, I just realized. I'm not up on my slides. There we go. There's a picture. So there is a picture of this lobby. The lobby of the Pix is incredible. Well, I go there, my family goes there just to hang out, even if we're not watching movies, like that. Well, before we get to talk about the details of your business, let's give us the origin story. So you came to Oregon, was it 2013?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so you came here to buy the theater, that's what brought you to Oregon?
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
Okay. So where are you coming from? Like, you know.
Okay, so here we go. We're living in Orange County, California. This was early. Was that the front? It's all right there. That's a beach.
Grew up there.
Frozen bananas. You know, it's all right. So one of the things that we always would do in the wintertime is my mom or Denise's mom would come and watch our kids, and we would go to Palm Springs for a week, and we would movie binge right about January or February, and we called this our Oscar Blitz. So we would get away, and we would just sometimes 3 movies a day, just because that's one thing we're really into. And so we were there, and so there was talk at my job that they're going to be laying somebody off, and I was going to have to decide who got laid off. And Denise was that you mentioned our lobby. Denise was a designer at Crate and Barrel for several years, and they persuaded her to make a lateral move to sales manager. And so she went from designing things that were beautiful to asking people how many credit card applications did you get filled out today. So she was not digging it. So we were just there, and we just thought, well, if we could do anything, what could we do? What would we want to do? And so we thought, maybe we could own a movie theater. And Denise, she said, how do you own a movie theater? And so I did what everybody does when you want to figure out how something works. I Googled it. Movie theaters for sale.
Literally, that's
And this movie theater was for sale, the Pix Theater in Albany, Oregon. And, we're from SoCal, so we have a dozen friends that have already moved up to the Portland area, of course. And so we looked on a map and we said, well, that looks pretty close to Portland. We know a few people up there. So, we came and we checked it out. And we said, well, we need some money to buy a theater. Let's sell our house. So we sold our house.
Well, yeah, can I just pause? So, when you're looking for is this the right thing to do? We put our house up for sale, and within the end of the day, we had multiple offers that were well above what we asked for our house. So it was like, oh, I guess we better get a real thing. I guess we're doing this.
Feel for a moment like you're Scrooge McDuck and you've got gold coins in your basement and diamond, right? Yeah, so you gotta.
It was just that. Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant.
No, anyway, we came to South Theater and we thought this looks really fun. Let's try doing this for a living. And you know, if it doesn't work out, there's probably a couple suckers like us out there.
And a shout out to the gal behind the counter at the hotel we were staying at. We walked in and she said to us, "Why are you here?" And she could tell we were not from here. I don't know why.
Because we're at a hotel, maybe.
Were you smiling?
And we said we were here on possibly buying a business. And she told us, again, like, you know, you're looking for signs or whatever. Well, I was. Not all people do. But she said, you should do it. And we're like, why? Why do you say that to us? And she's like, well, we need people to come here and, what did she say?
She said something like, we need people to come here and invest in the community and, you know, help make Albany, you know, a cool place.
And it just struck me that why would she say that to us?
Does Sharon Canopa like this person?
Hold off the mask.
Yeah. So
We are certainly very lucky and very happy that it worked out this way. Whoever this hotel employee is, they're
yeah, she's not there anymore. We tried to look her up when we moved here, and she was no longer working there. So, if you're here tonight, thank you. Coming over. Thank you.
So, operating a movie theater for the last 4 or 5 years. You played lots of movies there. What's the weirdest thing? I mean, this is a great movie theater. You play art house stuff. You play some bigger things. So it's not like a red light district sort of thing. But what's like the weirdest thing that you're like, man, I can't believe we got that?
You mean as a movie?
Yeah.
The weirdest movie we ever got. Weirdest. What was the weirdest?
Oh, the grandpa one?
Oh, Bad Grandpa? Okay, so Bad Grandpa, made by the people who make Jackass.
Okay.
And Jackass 2 and Jackass 3.
Yeah, that doesn't strike me as a mixed theater sort of movie.
Yeah,
Indicators?
well, you know what happened? So, one of the reasons that Jeff and Rob in Mexico, who actually got the pitch running again in 2005, so shout out to them. One of the reasons they were looking to sell it is because everybody had to convert from 35 millimeter film to digital film because digital options were just not, there wasn't very many things you could get. So this was late in the year, and we're like, okay, what are our options? What can we get on 35 millimeter film? And the option came back, Bad Grandpa. And so this is one thing that really motivated us to get to digital. And also, we're new in town, and there was a snowstorm that week, and we found out in Albany, when it snows, everything shuts down. And so we had probably 12 people come to the theater that week.
The week.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So that was a weird movie. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the whole experience sounds pretty great. And you survived it, as we all nationally have survived Bad Grandpa.
This is true.
Yeah.
Has Johnny Knoxville survived Bad Grandpa? Though I'm wondering. Haven't seen
Have we
him.
heard from him in the last few years?
Yeah.
So you guys are kind of in the movie business. Movie stars have that amazing lobby that we referenced. Who's a movie star, celebrity, or actor or director you would most like to hang out with in your sweet lobby?
This is an interesting question because when I was a kid, I used to watch MTV, and they would say, like, win lunch with Aerosmith, you know? And I always thought, what would I say to the guys at Aerosmith if I was having lunch with them? Like, we have nothing in common. So when you ask me a question like that, do I think like Quentin Tarantino? And yet he kind of gives me the creeps a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So I would probably say Valerie Ferris and Jonathan Dayton. Not sure if you know who they are, but they are a husband and wife, and they are directors, and they directed what's my personal favorite film, Little Miss Sunshine. And also they've only directed 3 films, so I feel like I know their whole their whole catalog, so they wouldn't bring up an obscure, you know, like, what did you think of this? It was good. I love that movie. So, you know, I've seen all 3 of their films more than once, and they're married, they work together, they have kids, we have kids. So I figure it'd be nice to talk to them, and also just I would like to talk to them about Little Miss Sunshine. And, you know, it's a funky movie, but I can't watch it without getting choked up in parts, and I'd like to talk to them about how were you able to hit me here, you know?
Didn't you, I saw this on Facebook, didn't you recently do an encore showing of Little Miss Sunshine for
His 50th birthday.
50th birthday?
Yeah. I just thought, what would I most like to show? And there's a lot of stuff in movies I didn't know there was before. Like we have a booker, we have a guy we have to call and say, hey, can we get this movie? And so I asked him about Little Miss Sunshine. He said, yeah, we can get Little Miss Sunshine. I was so excited that we played it. We had a pretty good crowd. And I hate to say I missed it when it first played in the theaters. So I've only seen it on video, so to see it with a theater packed full of people, that was a great experience. And a little shout out that there is really nothing like the theater experience.
I have a question, because you say you have a booker, and I know there's all these factors that come into getting a movie into your movie space. So I need to ask for someone else. My mom.
Okay.
So my mom is working on finding forgiveness that you have not shown Murder on the Orient Express. She may or may not be in the audience tonight. I'm trying to talk her through this because she does have this history of like if the Kohl's doesn't open in the town, she might boycott the Kohl's. and she loves the pitch. She loves the pitch. And so I want to get her through this hump of why Murder on the Orient Express hasn't been shown in the pics. So could you explain, as business owners, what factors go into getting movies into your space?
A perfect question.
Right, let's disseminate this information out there.
Yes.
Because really it's not our attempt to be cruel to people and say,
we're
not bringing that in just to hurt you.
I hate getting run off.
Right. No, so the industry has changed. We're able to open certain titles, not Disney titles. Disney says if the Regal has it, you can't have it until the Regal doesn't have it. So that's a bummer. But certain other studios, 20th Century Fox, Lionsgate, Universal, they're like, you can go head to head with Regal if you want. So we were trying to book a title, and the movie Wonder was coming out. Did anybody see Wonder? And they said, Lionsgate's thinking about, they'll let you show it if you can tell me how many schools you think you can get to come see it. And so we were like, okay. So I just went on the GAP's website and I just emailed all the elementary school teachers and I said, you want to come to the pics? And like 8 out of the 9 elementary school teachers within the day said, yeah, I'd like to bring students. So we're like, we can get maybe 9. And so they said, you can open it. Well, it did really well. And so we had to guarantee that we'd show it for 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks went really well, studios get a little bit unhappy if you say, okay, I'm going to move on to a title now. They get sort of like, really? And you're like, yeah, it's time to move on. And
They tell you the next big movie they're going to release, and they say, well, then we probably won't be able to get you that.
Yeah, there's a bit of extortion that goes on. So, anyway, so I was like, I told these people we're going to get Murder on the Orient Express. I put the poster up, and my booker said, yeah, you should never do that. And I said, but I thought we for sure be able to get it. And he said, no, you got to hold it. So we held it another week. And then we got to the 3rd week after, and I go, okay, Murder on the Orient Express now. And their answer was, okay, I'll try. But this movie's old now, and Lionsgate's not going to dig. You're getting rid of their newer movie for an old movie. I said, okay. And then he also said, oh, also, aren't you doing White Christmas for the Downtown Association? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, Fox isn't going to let you show Murder on the Orient Express.
What?
Because you're showing White Christmas. So, I don't know if anybody came to White Christmas. But the reason we didn't have Murder on the Orient Express, let me say this right, was because, well, we had booked
White Christmas.
White Christmas.
Naturally.
Right.
So why would you get that? So it's big Christmas.
Yeah. So wonder a fourth week, and then they were like, okay, you can't move off this unless you open something new. So then we went to Ferdinand for a couple weeks, and then they said you can't go off Ferdinand unless you'd like to open The Greatest Showman. And so we did Greatest Showman, which was, did you love that movie? Yeah. I know. The girls hated it, and wow, what a fun movie. And then we did that crazy sing-along night on the last night, which was total blast. That was fun too. So it's tricky when it comes to booking stuff. That's why when people say, what are you playing next week? I say, look Monday, and we'll let you know. So.
See, Mom?
We're really sorry.
It wasn't your mistake.
We're really
You're
sorry.
not the only ones.
And we only have one screen, which makes it tougher. If we had 2 or 3 screens, it would, life would be better.
Yeah.
For all of us.
long-term
Thank you
goal.
for explaining that. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, and by the way, that cilantro thing?
Yeah.
Thank you. The salsa, and I'd be like, is there dish soap in this cilantro?
Does she
taste like dish soap?
Does she pretend like you don't really notice it? Like, oh, you won't really notice it.
Well,
Like,
she
puts
did
it in
kind
there
of,
anyway.
she did act like I was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
What do you mean it tastes like dish soap?
Yeah.
I'm like, it tastes like dish soap.
Years of my life for that.
I did want to say too that I did wear my lucky socks tonight. These are my look how white my ankles are. These are my Chewbacca socks. So
All right, so the Oscars are coming up.
This is
pretty
true.
quick. Lots of movies. We can't go through all of them. But do you have anything, something that's going to win Best Picture? Do you have something you're pulling for? In case we haven't seen it, we should go out and see it. What's something that might win?
I think the winner is probably going to be. I think this. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which is currently playing at the Pick Theater this week. We're also playing Coco.
Also, what else?
Yeah, it is. Best, that one will probably win Best Animated Feature.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the next question is going to be what's playing right now. What should we go out and see? But we should see it because it could be the Oscar-winning film when the Oscars are playing later this month.
Yeah. And right now we're doing what we call the Oscar Blitz. So we took our Oscar Blitz that we did and we brought it here. And so right now we're trying to 1 week and a new one, 1 week and a new one, trying to get all of the Best Picture nominees on before Oscar night, because the Oscars are way more fun when you know what the movies are that they're talking about, for sure. And also we're having an Oscar party at Pix on March 4th. So come on down. The cost is $0, and we have a pick'em, and we have prizes, and it's a fun night. And generally, Chef Bennett from Sybaris puts together a Wolfgang Puck inspired appetizer tray. So it's a lot of fun. If you've never been to Pix on Oscar night, come on down.
All right. So finding more information, this is Pixtheater. What's the 3 letters?
AlbanyPix.com.
Oh, AlbanyPix.com. Finding information about all of your Oscar events, the Oscar party, the Blitz, all that kind of stuff. Okay, very good. All right.
Well, our Facebook page too.
Okay.
That's where we post a lot of stuff.
All right. Well, we do have one last thing, and that is the potluck. We got to finish this because they're waiting to go to Frederick. So we are making vegan pesto pasta salad, vegan chocolate crack for dessert. There will be a fruit and veggie tray, and then beef. I was looking for a live cow, but I don't think that's going to happen. So not too many things left, but get creative. What's something that you guys bring when you're invited to a dinner party?
For real, we always bring a bowl of pig's popcorn. And people seem to like it. But I also like to bring guacamole because I love making guacamole.
Cilantro free, I hope.
Have your own dinner party somewhere else, guys. This is going to be popcorn and cilantro-filled guac.
Oh, but this is true about one of the reasons we always bring popcorn if we're invited, because I'd like this to get out too. I've been reading things on websites about movie theaters. They always serve stale popcorn. One reason we bring all our popcorn is because we throw it out when we're done every night. So, because we make it fresh every day. So, spread the word on that.
Your popcorn is fantastic.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
I still though, every once in a while there'll be a person like, oh, this is stale. When did you make this? And I'm like, 10 minutes ago. Like, for real, you know? And sometimes it's so hard to stay positive.
Well, clearly you guys, you're immersed in the community. You've been here a while. You don't need to make new friends. Customers not always writing more.
That's like when you're
camera's right
when you're crouched down in your little booth, kind of hiding under there with your frozen banana with the works. That's like you just had a bad customer, right?
I did have frozen banana.
Well, we were going to end with something that made you guys look kind of silly, but you bring out that popcorn. All I can think about is popcorn and guacamole now.
Let's go get some.
Yeah.
No, let's do the silly bit real quick.
Okay.
It's fun.
Is everybody still okay? Is it getting are you bored? Like, we're almost
all right.
guys off. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm a popcorn connoisseur. I've had a variety of popcorns, and I can vouch for Pick's popcorn being amazing. Yes. Okay, so on these little slips of paper in here, these could be actors, these could be movie titles, these could be anything. But they're all movie adjacent, or movie related. I'd like you to take a slip out of there and immediately, don't say anything, don't say any words, give us an impression of the person or a scene from the film. Try to get us to guess. Try to get.
Can we get the audience?
Yeah.
You guys want to guess?
Yeah.
Ladies first.
No, no.
Ladies
All right.
first. Ladies first.
Go Denise. I don't even know who it is.
Okay. All right. And if you think you can guess it, we'll put our hands up.
Let's see. Let me see. Oh, okay. Better you than me, right?
I literally don't know what to do.
Okay. Do you need to pass?
Can I pick another one?
Okay.
Okay.
Cilantro haters who could probably help you out.
Ordinary people. That's what that was. Ordinary people. They can't guess.
Oh. Okay.
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 Fast and Furious.
Well done.
He was Baby Driver. Yeah. Sorry. I should have shouted that out. All right.
Okay, I'll try this. You want to help me with this? Okay. This is fantastic. Thanks for helping me.
Oscar nominated film.
Oh, I get that.
Yes. Try.
Try.
And at this.
It's like, this is the... Okay.
Yeah.
What? This is the opposite of my favorite actor. There you go.
Oh. Physically, this is really inappropriate. So instead, all I'm going to do is... Oh! Goodness, I'm inside of a video game. Oh! Goodness, I'm large. The people's elbow. The Rock. The Rock. You know, I don't know, it feels like it's really hot. It's not. It's not that. Practice in front of the mirror. Okay, one more. Try this. Real quick. First thing that pops into your head.
Last one.
I can't believe you bashed your...
Oh, yeah. Somebody said it. I taught you.
All right. All right, the lightning round. First thing that pops into your head.
Long hair. Very nice. This is my... What'd you say?
That one may not be Oscar nominated, but I put it in there anyway. Can't stop.
Should have been.
All right, championship. This is it. Lightning round.
Oof. Wham. Go. Sell. There it is.
That one is an Oscar nominated film.
The Boss Baby.
That's true.
Yes. All right, well, let's give a round of applause for They know about
They're in the days.
All right, well, let's see. We cover everything. Let's just go through the potluck menu one more time. Vegan custard pasta salad, veggie fruit tray, quote-unquote beef, fixed popcorn for snack, and a dessert of bacon chocolate crack. That's what we have put together as a community with our guests. There's our potluck for tonight. One more round of applause, please, for yourselves. Thank you all so much. It has been an amazing